Today's meeting of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors. Today we're going to start this meeting like we always do with the invocation and the pledge, and we're really excited to have with us Giselle Esquerdo Alcala, who's an intern with our Human Resources Department, and she's actually with us through the School to Work Summer Program from the Foundation for Blind Children. So with that, I'll turn it over to her. Okay, my apologies. All right. So we have, doing the invocation this morning.
It's going to be Steve Garbo.
Yeah, my apologies.
Exactly. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We do have a special guest, and I'll go ahead and we'll introduce her so she could give our invocation, but I'd like to say a few words after she's done. But Pastor Magdalena Schwartz is here to give our invocation, so welcome.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this wonderful day. Thank you, Lord, for this wonderful opportunity. I want to ask you that you bless this meeting, that you bless each supervisor member for Maricopa County, and every decision that they're going to make today will be a correct decision. Guide them and protect them and bless the family, bless the Maricopa County, bless City of Phoenix, and blessing Arizona State. Thank you, Lord, for this beautiful meeting. It will be a blessing. In the name of Jesus, I pray, amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much for that invocation, and now we'll have Giselle with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Supervisor Sellers.
Here.
Supervisor Chukri.
Here.
Supervisor Hickman.
Here.
Supervisor Gallardo.
Here.
And Chairman Gates.
Here.
Thank you.
And before we move into our agenda, I'd just like to turn it over to Supervisor Gallardo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are extremely blessed to have Pastor Magdalena Schwartz here today. I haven't really had a chance to sit down and talk to her, and she's full of wealth and information, but she is truly a saint in what she and many pastors have done over the last 10, 11 months. And I barely become known of this issue back, I think, it had to be like February or so. I got a phone call from a friend that said, Steve, ICE, our Immigration Customs Enforcement, is dropping off a lot of families at our bus terminals. And I real quickly rushed over there to learn more about what was going on. And there she was. And she was helping families, getting them in safe shelter, getting them to the destination that they needed to go. She has been at this since October. There's 10 evangelical churches, Latino poor churches is how she puts it, that have used their little money to help nearly 80,000 folks that are coming to this country seeking refugee status and asylum here in this country. And when I went to the bus terminal to see the number of families, and we're talking kids, mothers and fathers and little ones, babies, infants at times, that were just being dropped off there, a bunch of the pastors and the churches got together and said, we're not going to just let these people be out by themselves. We're going to help them. And they opened up their churches, and with very little resources they had, they were able to bring these families in, clothe them, feed them. A lot of them just wanted to take a shower. And she has been just a true saint when it comes to helping these families. They are on a mission to making sure that no family or child is just left on the streets of Phoenix or Maricopa County. She has just done tremendous work. And I was so pleased last night. We were trying so hard to have her come here. And I got the call probably around 9 o'clock last night that she was available to come. I was so happy and excited that she was going to be here to give our invocation. But she has just done tremendous work. They're now gearing up to go to Guatemala to talk to the government down there and see what they can do to try to help families. Pastors to pastors just talking to each other. And what's so remarkable, this whole project, 80,000 people, human beings, that are just left on the streets of Phoenix and Maricopa County, and there's been no government resources to help. These churches have just done it themselves with very little money they have and very little donations that are given, that they have been able to help and save so many people. 80,000, I was just blown away when I heard the number. And this is not just a Maricopa, Arizona thing. This is across the country. And as we continue to have these types of dialogues nationally, we cannot forget that we are dealing with human beings. We're dealing with families, kids, and it's folks like Magdalena that has just done so much to make sure that these families are taken care of. So thank you so much for coming, and thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Supervisor Gallardo, and thank you, Pastor, for being with us today, and thank you for your compassion and for leading us in the invocation. Next, we have our special guest with us today, and that's Jose Santiago, is with us with Maricopa County Animal Care and Control, and he has a little friend with him today. Jose, good morning.
Good morning. We have an exotic breed called the Chihuahua. So he is with us right now. He's about 4 months old, and we are a no judgment zone at the shelter. So it is a boy that's named Gladys. Not sure who named him. So one of our alt placement team members said that the reason for the name was because he's Gladys to be getting out of the heat. So, right? So he is one of the dogs that will be taking off tomorrow on one of our transports. We are sending him to Seattle. A lot of people ask questions about our transports, but they really do provide a lot of life-saving space for us. We could not continue to function on a daily basis without those transports happening, especially now with our East shelter that still remains under a quarantine, and we are not allowing dogs into that facility. So as you can imagine, it stretches our resources quite thin at the West shelter. So this little guy is one of about 80 or so that are going on a flight tomorrow to Seattle, and that'll create 80 kennel spaces for us all in one shot. So that'll be something that we can really rely on right now. So that's what's going on at our shelter.
Well, thank you very much for bringing Gladys. Thanks for the great work that everyone does over at Animal Care and Control, and those partnerships with the other localities are really important to us all accomplishing what we're trying to do over there. So thank you, Jose, but we'll miss Gladys. Sorry to hear that Gladys won't be staying in Maricopa County. Just wanted to check with Madam Clerk. Do we have any additions or announcements or corrections to the agenda today?
Mr. Chairman, we do have two slight corrections to the agenda. The first one is on page 55, and it's number 127. And it's just a clarification to that particular agenda item that the diagram has been added to the recommendations to just show the relationship of the directors. The other item is just a couple pages past that on page 59. It's in your flood control section, item number 1 for flood control, to just clarify that this award is going to be made by the Board of Directors and not by the Director of Flood Control. There was just a mix-up in the wording on the agenda, so the award will be made by the Board of Directors.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that. Before we go any further today, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome the many people we have here today with us who are part of the Mandela Washington Fellowship for Young African Leaders. I had the opportunity to speak with many of you last Friday, along with Mayor Gallego. And for those of you who are not familiar with this is a program that's been going on for several years, sponsored by the Watts School of Public Service over at ASU. And this is an opportunity. These are the up-and-coming superstars from across Africa who have distinguished themselves in government, medicine, the private sector, sector in nonprofits. And so they're now taking 6 weeks to come over here, have an opportunity to learn more about Arizona. We figured this would be a great time of the year for you to come here. Very nice. The weather's very nice. Nice and cool, so we do appreciate you doing that, and also did want to recognize the Department of State's Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs is a part of this and sponsoring this effort as well. So we have 25 fellows between 25 and 35 years of age, and they're coming from 13 different countries. So again, welcome, and we really appreciate you taking this time to learn more about Arizona, although I suspect that we're going to learn a lot more from all of you than you will from us. So again, welcome, and hope you enjoy the meeting today. Next, we'll move on to our planning and zoning portion of the agenda. So Jen, if you would like to come on up, Jen and Darren. And Madam Clerk, do we have anyone present here today to speak on items PZ1 and PZ2?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Bill Lally is here to speak in favor if there are any questions or if needed.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. Any questions from my colleagues with respect to PZ1 or PZ2?
No, Mr. Chairman, I would just want to thank Bill for his work on these two items. I don't know, I saw him walk in, I don't know where he's at. Oh, there he is in the back. Real quickly was able to address some of the neighborhood concerns, and we're able to encompass those into the plans in terms of stipulations. And so thank you for the work and making sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted to ensure that we have a great project. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you for those comments. Any other comments at this point? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would move approval of items PZ1 and PZ2.
All right, thank you for that motion. Supervisor Gallardo, do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
All right, thank you for the second, Supervisor Hickman. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, that motion passes unanimously, which now takes us on to PZ3, which is the Laborde property. And this particular item, which is in Supervisor Chukri's district, we've had this item presented multiple times, and folks have had the opportunity to speak both in favor and in opposition of this, again, multiple times. We do have speaker slip from Josh Morris, who's in favor, and then Grant Hertel, Dave McMurtry, and Lisa McMurtry in opposition. So with that, I will turn it over to Supervisor Chukri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I thank my colleagues for their work on this issue. And unfortunately, this is just one of those difficult issues. This is our third meeting. One, I think, makes a first in my career here on the board to continue one issue for two separate times. And some good news since our last meeting was that both parties were able to agree to a deed restriction that satisfied some of the issues, however, did not satisfy all of the issues, primarily a road agreement between the proposed buyer and the two other landowners. So with that being said, I've gotten emails from both sides this week. I appreciate that. We are not a court of law to adjudicate matters. When it comes to the private road issue that is outside our scope, all we can do is encourage folks and parties to try to do the best to mediate an issue. And private property rights are something, as all of us do, hold very dear. And in this particular case, I think it's proved incredibly challenging. However, with that being said, I think we need to move forward. I would encourage both parties to continue to talk and discuss this matter, particularly with the road issue, the road agreement. And I appreciate everyone's work, especially that of planning and zoning up until this point. With that, Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve item PZ3.
Thank you, Mr. Chukri, and thanks for all the work you have done on this and your staff as well. Do we have a second on this item?
Second.
Thank you for the second, Supervisor Sellers. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, that motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Next, under statutory hearings, clerk of the board, we have 5, which is a liquor license application for a new license for the Well Done Grill. And number 6 is an impact statement hearing, proposed Mesa Linda Irrigation Water Delivery District. Under transportation, we have road file declarations for road file number A635. Madam Clerk, is there anyone here to present on to speak on items 5 through 7?
None, Mr. Chairman.
All right, then at this time, the board will consider items 5 through 7.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we approve these items.
Thank you, Supervisor Chukri. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Supervisor Gallardo. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Next, under county officers for clerk of the court, we have number 8, which is official appointments and oaths of office. Under the county attorney, we have number 9, which is official appointments and oaths of office. 10 is funding from the Arizona Governor's Office of Highway Safety, and we thank them for their continued support for Maricopa County Department of Transportation projects. And then 11, which is an increase to expenditure authority. The board will now consider items 8 through 11.
Move to approve items 8 through 11, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Hickman. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ooh, that was close. Okay, we'll give it to Supervisor Sellers. That was a close one, though. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, that motion passes unanimously. Next, under the sheriff, we have 12, which is trade-in of items for credit. 13 is a grant from the Target Corporation. 14 is funds from the Arizona Game and Fish Commission. 15, appropriation adjustments. 16 is an IGA with the city of Scottsdale. 17 is exemptions from markings and issuance of undercover license plates. And 18 is to amend an agreement with the town of Queen Creek. The board will now consider items 12 through 18.
Move for approval.
Thank you, Supervisor Sellers. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Supervisor Gallardo. Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion passes unanimously. The next item is also under the sheriff, number 19, and this is a transfer of ownership of a retiring canine. Now, this is with respect to Buddy, and Buddy's served as an MCO canine officer for more than 10 years. He's a 12-and-a-half-year-old Czech Fox Red Labrador Retriever. So doing the math at home, that's about 90 human years. So he's starting to show some aging, and he's ready for retirement. Now, during his service to Maricopa County, he's done great work, assisted in detecting, finding, and seizing hundreds of pounds of illegal narcotics, and he's found millions in narcotic-tainted currency. His service led to the arrest and prosecution of countless drug violators and drug traffickers in Arizona. Unfortunately, Buddy and his handler weren't able to make it today due to a prior commitment, but we wanted to share these photos with you so you can see Buddy, and we definitely wish Buddy the best as he retires as a canine and then has the opportunity to spend his time full-time with his owner and with the officer that he's worked with. Now, this item does require a unanimous vote of the board, so at this time I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Chukri. Do we have a second?
How can somebody not second that picture? Second, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Hickman. We have a motion and a second. And Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Supervisor Sellers.
Aye.
Supervisor Chukri.
Aye.
Supervisor Hickman.
Aye.
Supervisor Gallardo.
Aye.
Chairman Gates.
Aye. And that motion passes unanimously. So congratulations to Buddy. All right, next we move on to the judicial branch. Under adult probation, we have number 20, which is vehicle exemptions from markings and issuance of non-government license plates. Under the justice courts, we have 21, which is appointment of the Justice of the Peace pro tem. And under Superior Court, 22 is donations from the Friends of the Court. The board will now consider items 20 through 22.
Move to approve items 20 through 22, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Hickman. Do we have a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman, with a comment.
Yes, please.
Just reading through today's agenda, we have a lot of contributions, or donations is the better way of putting it, throughout the agenda for multiple county causes, and I just want to thank the public and let them know that we are very, very grateful for that. Their generosity means more than they probably realize when it comes to budgets. So I know this is the first, but I think throughout today's meeting, we should certainly convey our gratitude and appreciation for all these donations.
Definitely.
Well said, Supervisor Chukri, and I think all of us up here on the dais and county staff would agree completely with that statement. So with that, we do have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? And that motion passes unanimously. Now we move on to County Management, 23, Administrative Correction to Agreement with Grand Canyon University, and 24 is Appointment of Workforce Development Board Members. At this time, the board will consider items 23 and 24.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Chukri. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Supervisor Gallardo. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Under air quality, we have items 25 through 27, which are agreements and amend agreement with the Regional Transportation Authority and the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality. And under animal care and control, who we heard from earlier, we have 28, contract with HLP Inc., 29 through 35, some of those donations that Supervisor Chukri was mentioning. 36 is amend an IGA with the town of Youngtown, and 27 is a New Hope agreement with Help a Dog Smile. The board will now consider items 25 through 37.
Motion to approve items 25 through 37.
Thank you, Supervisor Hickman. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Supervisor Sellers. Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Next, under the Budget Office, 38 and 39 are contracts with the Phoenix East Valley Partnership in Westmark. 40 is apportionment of national forest fees. 41 is the IGA with Access. Under Environmental Services, we have 42, which is an appropriation adjustment. 43 is an IGA lease agreement with the University of Arizona. Supervisor Hickman. And Facilities Management, 44, budget adjustment. The board will now consider items 38 through 44.
Move for approval.
Thank you, Supervisor Sellers and Chukri. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Next, under Finance, we have 45, which is revisions to the finance policies A2501 and A2507. We have 46, which is funds, transfers, and warrants. Under Human Resources, we have 47, which is the performance-based retention pay plan, and 48, which covers market ranges. The board will now consider items 45 through 48.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of items 45 through 48.
Thank you, Supervisor Gallardo, for that motion. Do we have a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Hickman. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Next, under Human Services, we have 49 through 59, and this is to amend IGAs with the Arizona Department of Economic Security, City of Scottsdale, City of Tolleson, Town of Gila Bend, Town of Guadalupe, City of Avondale, City of Surprise, Town of Wickenburg, and City of Mesa. The board will now consider items 49 through 59.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Chukri. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Supervisor Gallardo. Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Continuing under Human Services, we have 60, which is amending an agreement with Tempe Union High School. 61 through 67 are IGA contracts and agreements with City of Tempe, Area Agency on Aging, Region 1, Banner Health, Wildfire, City of Peoria, and the Tempe Community Action Agency. The board will now consider items 60 through 67.
Move for approval.
Thank you, Supervisor Sellers. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Supervisor Hickman. Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Under procurement services, we have 68 and 69, which are to amend contracts with Grant Thornton LLP and CGI Technology and Solutions, Inc. 70 and through 72 are contracts with the Arizona Republic, National Medical Services, Inc., Redburn Tire Company, Charlie Case Tire, LLC, and the Southern Tire Mart, LLC. The board will now consider items 68 through 72.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Chukri. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Supervisor Sellers. Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Under Public Health, we have 73 through 75, which are agreements with Central Arizona College, University of St. Francis, and Native Health. 76 is fund transfer and budget adjustments. And 77 through 80 are amend IGA and agreements with the Pinal County Community College District, the Governor's Office of Youth, Faith and Family, Dignity Health, and the Arizona Department of Health Services. The board will now consider items 73 through 80.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Chukri. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Supervisor Hickman. Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Next, under Public Health, we have 81, purchase order to Arizona Department of Health Services, IGA. 82 is an IGA with the Arizona Department of Health Services. 83 is to rescind an amendment to an agreement with Dignity Health. 84 is the TB Control Incentive Program. Under Risk Management, we have amend the IGA with the City of Phoenix. And under Transportation, we have 86, which is reduction of fleet. 87 and 88 are IGAs with the City of Peoria and the Gila River Indian Community, and 89 is easement, right-of-way, and relocation assistance documents. The board will now consider items 81 through 89.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of items 81 through 89.
Thank you, Supervisor Gallardo. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Supervisor Sellers. Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Next, under the Board of Supervisors, 90 through 94, we have reappointments to the Arizona Diamondbacks Foundation Board of Directors and the Community Development Advisory Committee. 95, we have the resignation of the McDowell Mountain Justice Precinct Justice of the Peace. Under Industrial Development Authority, 96 is a resolution issuance of bonds for the benefit of Stepping Stone Phase 3 LP. The board will now consider items 90 through 96.
Move for approval.
Thank you, Supervisor Sellers. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Supervisor Chukri. Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, that motion passes unanimously. Now we're...
Chairman, if I might.
Absolutely.
On item number 95, Michael Reagan has been a great Justice of the Peace for several years, and I'd be remiss if I didn't thank him for his service to Maricopa County. His wife is of Lebanese descent, which is critically important to his success and being a Justice of the Peace. But just what a quality man, quality family, and I want to make sure we thank him for his many, many years of service to Maricopa County.
Thank you so much for those comments, Supervisor Chukri. I would agree. Justices of the Peace have a tough job out there. It's sort of the people's court here in Maricopa County, and he and all of our Justices of the Peace do a great job, and he will definitely be missed. Next, on to Planning and Development, we have 97, which is planning and zoning cases. And under Transportation, we have 98 through 116, which are road files as listed in the agenda. The board will now consider items 97 through 116.
Move to approve items 97 through 116, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Hickman. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Supervisor Gallardo. Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Next, we go on to our consent agenda. 117, tax abatements. 118 are the minutes. 119, duplicate warrants. 120, secured and unsecured tax roll corrections. 121, mail ballot election for special taxing districts. 122, civil penalty appeals. 123, property reclassification appeals for approvals. 124, settlement resolution of property tax cases and claims. 125 is precinct committeeman. And 126 is a termination letter of IGA with Regional School District number 509. The board will now consider items 117 through 126.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Chukri. Do we have a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Hickman. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, that motion passes unanimously. And unless my colleagues have any objections, just going to jump a little out of order. We're going to hold on 127, and we'll move to the addendum items, and then we'll come back to 127 at the end. So under the addendum, we have Board of Supervisors A4, which is a quarterly RICO expenditure application. Under County Attorney, we have A5, which is the Appropriation Adjustment Special Revenue Fund. Under Air Quality, we have A6, which is a Substantive Policy Statement Certification. And then under Transportation, we have A7, which is a settlement in Buckeye Ventures Associates, LLC case. And then also A8, which is a settlement in 303 Investment LLC, 303 Investment Holdings LLC et al. Case. The board will now consider items A4 through A8.
Move to approve items A4 through A8, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Hickman. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ooh, that was close.
I think Mr. Gallardo had it, and since it's on the west side, I think we defer.
I think that I think that's fair. We will do that. Thank you very much.
Nothing to do with the west side. I was first.
Yeah, that's right. No special treatment here, right? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, that motion passes unanimously. On item A9, I have a potential conflict on this one, so I will turn it over to our able Vice Chairman, Supervisor Hickman.
I like a better adjective than able, though. We'll wait for our chairman. Okay, item A9, settlement in CMEX Construction Materials South LLC. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Hear a motion. Do I have a second? Second? I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries, and we will invite the chairman back.
Thank you, Supervisor Hickman, for doing a fantastic job.
More than able.
Really, much more than able. All right, so now we will recess as the Board of Supervisors, and we'll convene as the Flood Control District Board of Directors. We have F1, which is to amend the authorization to award for the White Tanks Flood Retarding Structure Number 4 outlet facility. We have F2, which is bids and award for the East Maricopa Floodway Low Flow Channel, and F3, which is on-call services contract with Hoskin Ryan Consultant, Inc. The board will now consider items F1 through F3.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, go ahead. I'll second with the addition that it includes what the clerk said earlier on in the meeting with those corrections.
Excellent. Thank you very much. All right, we have a motion from Supervisor Sellers, a second on this, the corrections as were discussed. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, that motion passes unanimously. Now we'll adjourn as the Flood Control District Board of Directors and convene as the Library District Board of Directors. And again, to Supervisor Chukri's comments earlier, L1 and L2 are items dealing with donations to library districts. So the board will now consider items L1 and L2.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Chukri. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Supervisor Gallardo. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next, under the Housing Authority, we have H1, which is Employee Benefits Renewals. H2 is the 2020 operating budget. H3 is the Housing Choice Voucher Program Administrative Plan Revision. And H4 through H7 are appointments to the Housing Authority of Maricopa County Advisory Committee, Jake Hinman, Amy Schwabenlender, Kathy Dinolfi, and Gina Ramos Montes. The board will now consider items H1 through H7.
Move to approve items H1 through H7, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Hickman. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Supervisor Sellers. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? All right. That motion
I did.
Excellent. All right, motion passes unanimously. And now we will adjourn as the Housing Authority of Maricopa County and will reconvene as the Board of Supervisors. And now we'll return back to item 127, which is an item which is titled 2019 Elections Work Group Recommendations. And before we jump into this item, I just wanted to make a few remarks on this. We've been working on this item literally, obviously for years. It's something that we've been looking at. And one of the reasons that we're doing that is, for background, for those of you who aren't familiar with this item, back in 1955, the Board of Supervisors turned over its responsibility for Election Day operations to the recorder. Now, back at that time, we had about 330,000 residents in Maricopa County. Now, today, we have about 4.5 million. We're the fourth largest county in the country. We've been the fastest growing county in the country for the past 3 years. Now, there have been some challenges with elections that have been reported in the media, both in 2016 under a Republican recorder and in 2018 under a Democrat recorder. And this effort from the beginning has not been about, pointing fingers or placing blame. The Board of Supervisors has looked at this and said, how can we help address issues that exist, and how can we work to make sure that we have best-in-class elections in Maricopa County? So we voted unanimously as a board in early 2018 to form a work group. Now, this is not a group of politicians or elected officials. It was a group of professionals who work here in Maricopa County, some appointed by the Board of Supervisors, some appointed by the recorder. And I thank the work group for their great work. They did a lot of investigating, did a lot of studying on this, and they came forward to the board in May of this year with certain recommendations. And we have now had the opportunity as a Board of Supervisors to review that work group. We've also had the opportunity, all of us on the Board of Supervisors, to go out in the community, to hear from folks, hear what their concerns have been with elections and their ideas on how we can improve things moving forward. And the one thing that's come through loud and clear for me is that the people in Maricopa County want to make sure that we have integrity in our elections. And as we're on the precipice of 2020, where we'll have a presidential primary election, we'll have a primary and a general election, it is so important that people from across the political spectrum believe that there is integrity in our elections. So today we have several items on our agenda that address making 2020 elections best in class here in Maricopa County. And as I've said before, how we build that foundation for strong election is made up of a three-legged stool. One leg of that stool is technology, and basically that's tabulation system. We've had the same tabulation system for a long time. We've got an item here today to approve $6.1 million for a new tabulation system that is going to work better and faster. and be a big key element to this three-legged stool. Second piece is staffing. We have done a staffing study right now. We're waiting on its final recommendations, but it's important that here in Maricopa County, we have the right number of people working on elections and the people with the right background and expertise to be doing that. And then the final leg of this stool is how the elections department and how elections are organized. Again, since 1955, the Board of Supervisors has sort of stood on the sidelines. And another item that we'll be dealing with today is having the Board of Supervisors step up so that we get directly involved in the elections alongside the recorder. And specifically, we have an item to create a new position, Director of Election Day Operations and Emergency Voting Operations, that reports directly to the Board of Supervisors and works closely, of course, with a Director of Early Voting and Voter Registration who reports directly to the recorder. So I want to thank the work group for their great efforts on this. I want to thank the Recorder's Office for all their cooperation as we've been working on this. Supervisor Gallardo and I have met with the Recorder many times over the past few months, and I want to specifically thank Supervisor Gallardo, who has been such a key part of making this a bipartisan effort. We've had decades of one partisan official being over all the elections. And with these items, we can envision a new future where the recorder and the 5 of us on the Board of Supervisors work in partnership with members of the Democrat and Republican Party to ensure that elections are best in class. And finally, I want to thank my Chief of Staff, Laura Etter, and my Deputy Chief of Staff, Zach Shira, for all his work on this, and all the chiefs. I want to thank all my colleagues up here on the dais for their great work in going out in the community to find what the issues are and how we can step up and help. Again, as was stated earlier by Madam Clerk, we do have a correction in this, which will include a slide. And I don't know if Fran, we can put that slide up now, which shows the organizational structure. On the left, you have the current executive structure that's been in place at least since 1978, and then the proposed executive structure if these items are approved by the board today, so that everyone can see that sort of pictorially. So with that, I'll turn it over. Check with Madam Clerk. Do we have any speaker slips on this item?
I have none, Mr. Chairman.
All right, so with that, I will open it up to any questions or comments from my colleagues.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick comment. First of all, I just want to thank not just the recorder, but the entire election team. I started my professional career there in elections. And even driving in today, I was thinking about my tenure there in elections. I remember I was still a relatively new employee. I think it may have been there 3 or 4 years, 4 years at the time. And we had just finished a presidential election. It was in 92. We just finished the presidential election, and we had worked, and I know even many of the employees and the entire election team, they worked many, many hours. Folks have no idea what it takes in order to put on one day of voting. There is just so much that's involved. And you get criticized. You get criticized by the public. You get criticized by the media because you're taking too long to put out the results. You get criticized by both political parties. I mean, you can't make anyone happy. But they do a tremendous, tremendous job. But I do remember that 92 election. We just finished. I was relatively new. I remember working like 16, sometimes 20-hour days, and even on election day, working all night. We'd work almost 40 hours. And being here in the office in the morning and seeing the employees come back to work the next day, and you're still wearing the same clothes you wore the day before because you're still at it, trying to put the pieces together and finish the election. And it was just right after that election, the Arizona Republic came out with an editorial just blasting the elections department, just criticizing. It's like, wow, we'd worked so hard and we did everything we can in order to, now I'm probably going to get criticized by the Republic, but anyways, we were criticized, and I was like, wow. I said, man, I couldn't believe that all the work we did And it wasn't just, it was the entire team. And it's not only the permanent staff, you had your seasonal staff and your volunteers, just thousands of people that work so hard to put on this one day of voting, and you just get criticized. And in my opinion, I thought that election went well. So it's a task that is so important, and everyone demands 100% perfection. And you're never going to get it when you're dealing with so many people. You're dealing with the 4th largest county in this country. You're dealing with so many moving parts in elections that they do the best to make sure that everyone has the right to vote. You're always going to have little problems here and there. As long as you're prepared to address those problems, that's your job. And they do just a remarkable job. The 14 years I was there in elections, I never regretted one day. The whole team worked so hard to do everything they can to ensure that everyone had the right to exercise the most fundamental right they had, the right to vote. And yes, you're going to be criticized from both political parties. You're going to be criticized by the media and the public on every little thing. But at the end of the day, they do just a tremendous job in making sure elections are run smoothly, professionally, and making sure that everyone has that opportunity to vote. So now you look moving forward, how do we ensure, being that technology has changed, and elections has changed dramatically since I was there. I mean, just the whole way the electorate is voting now. I mean, Pebble is just taking off. We didn't have a permanent early voting list when I was there. We had absentee voting. Now you have a Pebble, and I see Ray in the audience. I have no idea how many voters are on Pebble, but it's a large number. The vast majority of the people are going to vote by mail, and how you deal with that. And now you have your election day voters, and technology has changed, and it's just so much different than when I was there. But how do you move forward? How do you get rid of a system that was in place when I was there? The same system that they're using now to tabulate ballots is the same system that was used when I was there. So how do you update that? How do you look at new technology? And I've said this many times, I'm not a tech person. I couldn't tell you anything about technology. There's experts to tell you that, and we have them on board. So how do you implement new technology? I remember one of my first meetings I had with Helen Purcell when I first got on the board back in 2015. Helen came in and said, Steve, we really need to look at a new tabulation system. And so what's wrong with the system? She said, it's just so outdated. And we need to be able to be in a position to make this investment. And I think the time is now. And I think that's definitely one of the items that we'll be addressing. So how do you move forward going on in the future? How do we look at the presidential primary election? How do you look at 2020 primary and general? How do you look at elections in 2025 and 2030? How does that look? The county's not getting smaller, we're getting larger. The population continues to grow by leaps and bounds. The patterns and how people vote continue to change. How we vote, I've always said this, one of these days we're going to be voting from here. We will. It's just a matter of time. This is how we're going to vote. And so how does that look like? And how do we invest in our future? How do we make sure that the elections department has all the tools and the resources and the human capital they need in order to conduct, as Shukri always says, the world-class elections system. And it's easy to just sit by and point at the department and say, good luck, and let us know how it goes. It's another thing when you step up and say, we're going to partner with you. We're going to stand with you 100%. We're going to give you everything you need in order to make sure we have an election that is world-class, that everyone's right to vote is protected, that soon we will be the largest jurisdiction, voting jurisdiction in this country. We will. Well, we'll be close, maybe second to LA, but we're going to continue to grow. And when there's growth, there comes responsibility, and I think it's time for this board to step up, and let's take on this responsibility. Let's stand with the elections department. Let's give them the resources that they need. This is a partnership. It's strengthening that partnership to ensure that they have what it takes in order to conduct this election. It's one of the first things that Adrian Fontes pointed out to me when he got into the recorder's office. Steve, we're understaffed. We need more people. And I said, okay, well, let's look at that. And that's another item we're going to be addressing is staffing. How do we make sure that they have the personnel needed? And again, elections have changed since I was there. It's all totally different. So staffing changes or staffing needs are different. So how do we move forward? I think it's through cooperation, not only from this board, but the elections department. It's working together. It's strengthening that relationship. It's putting our heads together to ensure that we have that world-class election system. And I think we're on that path. I applaud the county recorder. I wish he was here. I think he had a prior engagement, but I applaud him for everything he has done. The efforts of sitting down on multiple meetings to hammer out what we thought would be the best way to move forward, and not only in 2020, but 2025, 2030, and so on. We got to look long term. We can't just be looking at the next election and hoping everything goes correctly. We got to focus. Don't get me wrong, but we got to look long term. How do we move forward? And let it be a new technology. Let it be a new staffing plan. Let it be new tasks. Maybe it's legislation. I've always said this. I think the legislature needs to revamp our election. We need a massive overhaul of our election policies in statute. Many of the statutes that are in our books now are so antiquated. They were put in the books in the 70s and 80s. Get rid of those. They don't work in 2019 or 2020. So I think as we move forward, there's so much more work ahead, but I think only working together as a partner, a tight partnership between this board and the elections department to ensure that the pieces are there. And the only way we're going to be able to accomplish that, to have a better understanding, at least as a supervisor, is to be able to stand with the recorder's office and the election staff and say, we're going to do this together. We're going to win or fall together, but we're going to do it together. And that's what these three items, I think, start us off to do. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your leadership on this. And thank you, Mr. Fontes, for your support and your efforts in making sure we move forward.
Yeah. Thank you, Supervisor Gallardo, for those comments. And as you can see, we have subject matter expert here on the Board of Supervisors on elections, which is a great benefit. And again, I want to thank you for your partnership on this throughout. And also, I know, I spoke with the recorder. He wanted to be here today, but he has an important meeting, I know, with the Secretary of State and the county recorders getting ready for 2020. But Keeley is here today as well as Ray. Thanks. And they both served on this work group. And thank you for your invaluable contributions and expertise. Supervisor Sellers?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for all of your effort and your staff. Gosh, what an awesome job, you and working with Supervisor Gallardo. When I've not been involved in this all that long like the rest of you, but there were times that I thought this is insurmountable, that we're not going to be able to solve this problem. But I've come away from what we've done here in the last couple of months feeling very encouraged. I think that we really have gone a long ways towards getting to a world-class election system and one that eliminates the perception of partisanship. That's very important to me. It needs to be efficient, it needs to be fair, and it needs to be transparent. And I think that we've come a long ways towards making that happen. I also recognize that we have a lot of work ahead of us, that we're going to have to get out in our communities and start communicating with everybody in the community about what do they need to ensure that we have the right kind of elections going forward. So thank you for all of your effort, but I think that our work is just begun. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Supervisor Chukri.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. One way, and I may be looking at it a little differently, but I think collectively we all see this the same way. And what you have to view Maricopa County as is an enterprise. And that's what we are. We are an enterprise, to Steve Gallardo's earlier comments. We are the fastest growing county in America for the third consecutive year. You hear us say that a lot, but it's for a good reason. More than 200 people move here every single day. And all the road construction you see is not because of Maricopa County, for the record, because we're seeing a lot of it right now. But more than 200 people move here every single day. The second fastest growing county in America is Clark County, Nevada. And we are growing 70% faster than they are. So it's not a matter of time, Steve. It's a matter of days, really, when we are so close to LA County. We have the second largest jail system in America. And what we have done as a new board, as a new body, the past 7 years, is looked at how do we become best in class across all works, across all departments, across everything we do as this enterprise known as Maricopa County. And how have we done that? We've done that through smart justice programs, with our arraignments being teleconferenced instead of having a flight risk or having a heavy cost to the tune of $3 to $4 million to the taxpayer. We've done that by converting a one-time jail into office space for the county attorney, taking lease space away and saving taxpayers money. And how have we done that now with elections? And I will tell you, and I've said it many times before, I think one's right to vote is sacrosanct. I think that is something that is so sacred to each one of us in what this country stands for when it comes to your right to vote. And so in looking at that, I would say there's been several issues that I've had concerns with the past, not just last year, but even prior to that. Our former colleague, Denny Barney, brought to our attention in 17 that this memorandum of understanding from 1955 was well outdated and needed to be done. And so while some may make this partisan, I will tell you today it's not. It's not partisan. It is simply the same thing that we have been doing the past 7 years in bringing this business mindset to government and making us operate at the speed of business. And so the most rewarding factor to me in this past 12-month process has been the relationship I have developed with my constituents. And we can question the process of if it works or if it doesn't, but one thing that has become abundantly clear to me are that my constituents get it, that my constituents, for the greater good of all the reasons I just stated, for that freedom to be able to go and vote and to protect that freedom and to ensure that it's being done justly, not in a haphazard way, has really been a great, I think, reward to me as an elected official. Some of them are here today. And with that, what we've come up with has been stated. You mentioned the $6 million. We're putting 26 positions, I believe, to the tune of $2.5 million into this new construct. So I would say to the members of the media, I would say to everyone here today, that this is only carrying forward in a very big and must necessary way what we have been doing the past 7 years. However, we are focusing on elections. And I would argue that we can get it right. I would argue that when you go and vote, you should feel as though your vote was counted, that it was secure, and that it was done so in the most effective way possible here in 2019. It hasn't happened that way because we've been operating as we were in 1955. So what we're doing today as a board is we're recognizing that fact. The Maricopa County that the chairman referenced of 300 and some thousand people decades ago is not the Maricopa County of 2019, where we're 4.6 million people. So we have to adapt to that. Now, I will tell you, those who had a problem with how long it took to vote, the tabulation equipment, we understand that and we get that. However, when you operate at the speed of business and you try to run a business, run government like a business, you sometimes find that you have to get one more election out of your equipment, and that's what we did. This technology is changing so quickly, we found it was better to lease this equipment than to purchase it. Again, I think trying to do not necessarily the right thing, but the thing that makes sense not only to the business of Maricopa County, but to the people who have elected us. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I thank you, I thank your staff, I thank the working group, and I thank, most importantly, my constituents who brought to my attention factors that I was unaware of, but also that I believe the steps we will take today will bring about a profound difference in how elections are done in Maricopa County going forward.
Thank you, Supervisor Chukri. Supervisor Hickman.
I think being vice chair, I get to speak next to last, so thank you for that. But I'm going to correspond with all of my colleagues' remarks. I don't want to belabor anything. I want to very much appreciate your hard work and Steve's hard work before that and Denny's hard work before that. We identified issues a number of years ago, and I didn't run for this job or be appointed to this job by my colleagues that predate some of us by taking a job and going the easy way out. I took this job, and I think we all did, is we knew the county had some problems in different areas. This, to me, is just one of those things that we've run into. You do not, the general public doesn't get to see the amount of work that goes into with stakeholder groups, people talking, discussions about making this county a better place. And this whole process is why I ran for this job. It's done right. We identify problems. We work with the county. We work with county staff, and we work with our constituents to fix problems with the county. This problem has been in the newspaper almost since the day that we were elected. We've had problems in this area of elections. When I talk to the constituents, they figure out, why don't we run perfect elections? We've had 250 almost years as a republic of holding elections in this country. I don't think our forefathers envisioned the population of this country. This has been a work in progress. This has been a Republican process, and we need to just continue to use technology, to use our people, and to rely on our strengths, identify the weaknesses, make changes, and do the best we can and work as hard as we can to bring perfection. And I agree, there's never going to be perfection in a process like this in an election. I haven't seen a perfect election in any state ever. There's always some problem. If you're looking for a problem, you're going to find one, and that's what people do. They look for problems. Let's just hope that the path we're going towards starts identifying those problems and fixing those problems, because more problems based on technology, population growth, they're going to come up, and we are situating ourselves for that. So thank you for your hard work and Laura's work and our stakeholders group that worked in this. There were people from IT department. We worry about cybersecurity. You know, that seems to make the paper when it comes to elections. Procurement. We're about to step off and purchase, or as Steve said, lease, which I agree with. The technology is changing so rapidly. Steve believes that we're going to be voting by phone. We need to get ready for that. So we're going to be making quite a large expenditure, but our board wants some vision into that. That slide up there is important to me. It shows kind of what we are accomplishing today. The person that we will hire as Director of Election Day and Emergency Voting is statutorily what is required of our board. So we need somebody there. But the most important thing to me is those dotted lines. Those dotted lines represent cooperation. And if it's bipartisanship, if you call it, cooperation, working towards a common goal, which is an efficient and incredibly election based on integrity. I think that's what that represents to me. There's no dotted line between Board of Supervisors and Director of Election Services, because that's implied. To me, that's implied. It's already happened in my tenure. Reflecting on Saturday meetings when it came to the special election in District 8 with the recorder staff and the recorder himself. That's implied. So I'm hoping we look at those lines and say, hey, this is a new direction, and we are going to work together, and we are going to have a fantastic election, or we're going to die trying, because that's what our job is. That's what we're going to bring to bear. So again, thank you, Chairman Gates and Steve for your hard work in these meetings to get us to this point.
Thank you. Thanks to all my colleagues for all their comments. So important, and I think it's so appropriate. You know, we're talking about this fundamental right of voting and democracy, and even though we have been a democracy for almost 250 years, I think it's kind of a good illustration to our friends from the Mandela Washington Fellows Program that, you know, we've still got work to do, right? And once you start a democracy in action, doesn't mean you just press a button and it runs. You always have to revisit it and make changes and, you know, make amendments as needed as things go on. But I truly believe that this is going to lead to a stronger, you know, best-in-class elections for us, that partnership that everyone has talked about in working with the Board of Supervisors and the Recorder's Office. So with that, unless my colleagues have any other comments, I would open it up for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the motion on item 127, the 2019 elections work group recommendations, also with the changes made with, we saw that slide, with the changes made and specified by our county clerk.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Hickman. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Chukri. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, that motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Now we have some follow-on items that address the same area. 128 is the elections tabulation system. You heard that referred to earlier, $6.1 million to lease a new state-of-the-art system. And then 129 is elections appropriation adjustment. So there have been funds that the Board of Supervisors originally put into contingency for elections, and now that puts it into some of the specific line items that we've been discussing today. So at this time, the Board will consider items 128 and 129.
Mr. Chairman, move for approval items 128 and 129.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Hickman. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Chukri. Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, now we move on into the addendum, Budget Office A1. This is the budget adjustment for elections. Again, some of what we were discussing earlier. Human Resources A2, which is the creation of the Director of Elections Day emergency voting position. So that was the position that you saw in the organizational chart earlier. And then under Board of Supervisors A3 is to actually appoint the Director of Election Day and emergency voting position. And we do have that individual here today, Scott Jarrett. So at this time, the Board will consider items A1 through A3.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval for items A1, A2, and A3.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Hickman. Do we have a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Chukri. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? And those items pass unanimously. Now is the time for public comment. Madam Clerk, has anyone turned in speaker slips under public comment? Thank you. And as always, under public comment, we have 2 minutes to speak on these items. And under state law, the members of the Board of Supervisors are not allowed to respond to the comments that are made by the speaker, but we may or may not direct to the county manager to follow up on the particular items that might be raised. First, we have Kathleen Angelos with us.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for having me and Board of Supervisors to listen to me for another 2 minutes. I did listen to everything all of you did say. And I am walking away with the idea that this new direction, if you will, of the elections and integrity and security is like a business plan per se, and it's a living document that is to be updated to conform with the processes as things develop. I'm here one last time to say that I'm all for a improvement on the elections and how they are counted and handled and the verification of signatures and the whole bit, because I was a polling section supervisor in California, and I can relate to the work. But I'm here to support your improvements. I'm here to say that it is also important for the people that do not understand that their votes will be counted. And so I applaud you for listening to me, and I did listen to you. Have a good day.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us again. We appreciate you coming down and for your thoughts. Next, we have Nancy Ordowski with us. Thanks for joining us again. No problem. Good morning.
Good morning. I want to thank each one of you for working on this very important issue. This Constitution Republic that we live in here in the United States of America is very important, and we have to uphold the public's right to vote, that legal citizens vote. If I had my way, I'd go back to absentee ballots. And only for people over a certain age or with certain problems, so that we're voting in person, in paper ballots. I've seen illegal elections handled with phones. And so we've got some challenges ahead of us. But I want to thank you all for looking forward and being open to listening to your constituents. I really appreciate it. You've been there for us, and we'll be back watching what's going on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your comments. Next, we have Valerie Guremberg. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We really do appreciate that. We have Mr. Cooper. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, gentlemen, for the work that you've done. We hope that in June of 2021, we're not here again. Let's not do this again. Let's get it right. Now, I don't know Mr. Jarrett. He's got an awful lot of responsibilities put on his shoulders. I'm not an elected official, I'm not an employee, but we're going to be watching this. And hopefully this gentleman will be reporting back to you and be watching what's going on. We don't want to go through this again. We have a Women's World Cup going on. From a sports analogy, there's a winner and a loser. And something occurs on that pitch every day. But when the game is over, it's over. The votes have been counted. It was properly done. And there's no backlash because it was properly done. And I'm hoping that we get this right so that we're not here again. But thank you for the time. And I'll be in on the process as we go along. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good to see you again. And with that, those are all of the public comments that we have. And now we'll move to the supervisor's summary of current events. And we'll start with our county manager, Joy Rich. All right, Supervisor Gallardo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of things. Chris is off on her RV tour of the country for the month of July, and she left me a note. I don't know what I did with it. She goes, remember to say all these things, and I lost it. But nonetheless, we're gearing up for, we're gearing up for the summer. I do want to introduce a new face in District 5. David Galavis has joined our office in District 5. He will be taking on most of our community projects. David comes from the elections department, so that's an added plus for me there. But he comes from the elections department, and he is joining us in District 5. He has a lot on his plate already. It's sink and swim in District 5. We don't play around. But he has a lot on his plate already. We're starting off our Water Day events with the city of Phoenix and the local school districts, where we reach out to the community and inform them about county services, and start working with families in some neighborhoods that are in desperate need. So we're going to start that off this summer. And then we have our DBAC jams that we do annually that we moved from May to September. That's always fun. And you're giving me signals, but I don't know what. Oh, on the 25th, September 25th. He's already doing signals. Like, what does that mean? September 25th is our DBAC Jams. It's always a great event. We bring close to 2,000 inner city kids to cheer on the DBACs, but there's a price to pay. They have to perform community service and write an essay about it in order to participate, and that's their ticket to the game. And most of these kids have never been inside Chase Field. They can see it from their doorstep and their playgrounds at school, but they never had an opportunity to actually go inside and cheer on the D-backs, and we give them an opportunity by performing community service and writing a little essay about it. And then we pick 5 of the most unique essays, and we always have some surprises, but we pick out 5 of the top essays, and we award them with some donated items from the Diamondbacks that they get awarded, and they get to be on the field and get their picture taken, and then one of them gets to throw out the first pitch at the Diamondback game. So we pick one to throw out the first pitch. So that's always exciting. But anyways, welcome, David. You're going to have fun, and trust me, you'll have fun. But we have a summer all jam-packed and ready to rock and roll.
Thank you, Supervisor Gallardo. Supervisor Sellers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last Friday, I attended our State Transportation Board meeting in Pine Top, where we approved our 5-year construction plan. Saw some improvements in funding, but we're still drastically underfunded. So more to do on that. Yesterday, I attended Chandler Chamber of Commerce's Transportation Roundtable, where they put together their How We Stand document every year. So I was a part of that. A week ago or so, I attended a public meeting on the Gilbert Public Safety Training Facility that's under construction. Really encouraging to see what they're doing with that. And this public meeting was just to help the public understand what it's all about and how much it's going to improve their ability to train public safety folks in Gilbert. We just had some sister cities exchange students from Ireland here. We took them to a Diamondbacks game, and they now have gone back. The students from here will go in about a week now to Ireland to stay with the families that whose kids were here. So a lot going on, but I want to wish everyone a happy and safe 4th of July. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Supervisor Hickman.
Well, on today's agenda, you had a couple people reappointed to the Arizona Diamondback Foundation. I just want to give a shout out to both the foundation, the Arizona Diamondbacks, and APS. This last week, they opened up their 42nd Diamondback field in my little town of Litchfield Park. And great speeches were made. I appreciate that very much. Dr. Hilgers, that's my appointee, was kind of letting me know about the process that was going on, because this was a major field. I mean, you think about the legacy of Jackie Robinson, that's who it was dedicated to, number 42, and it was their 42nd field. I believe Mr. Williams, the nephew of Jackie Robinson, came and gave a speech alongside with some of the kids that are going to be using that field. It was very impactful. So my thanks to the foundation, my complete and total thanks to APS and the Diamondbacks organization for pulling that off in short order. It's going to be a great field. And one thing going on my district, I'm very much looking forward to a tour of a farm tomorrow. Like, I can't get off the farm enough. I'm going to go see the farm down in Aguila, the Martori farm, where they grow some great stuff down there, but being sponsored by Freeport-McMoran that actually owns the land. And with that, I get to do a couple business things, get to meet some community members. You talk about Gila Bend, Aguila, yes, it's in Maricopa County. So I'm going to go visit a couple of people out there, as well as our library. that received an award that I'm going to go celebrate with them. So looking forward to it. And Scott is not going with me, my chief of staff. He somehow begged off a long drive, so I'll get back to him on some other event someday. So thank you for that. And I'm missing Michelle, who's taking the final 6 weeks of her maternity leave. So we're going to be a little bit short-staffed, but you guys know that I answer my cell phone if you need me. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you. Supervisor Chukri.
You know, nothing, Mr. Chairman, other to welcome David to District 5. Jump in, the water's freezing. And if you ever need refuge in District 2, please come on over. But just welcome aboard, and to thank Scott. We have a lot of confidence in you. We know that you'll do a great job. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Would echo the comments, wishing everyone a happy 4th of July. Please be careful out there. We have the Woodbury fire now, one of the largest, tragically, one of the largest wildfires now in Arizona history. So be careful out there with fireworks, and we have the monsoon moisture has not arrived yet. So we have to be so careful out there. We are taking the summer off for our county coffees, but we'll be back in September. We got some great guests lined up for this fall. And also wanted to say thank you to all my colleagues who joined me on Monday in voting unanimously to approve our fiscal year 2020 budget. It's a $2.5 billion budget, which provides for the needs of Maricopa County, but for the 3rd year in a row, there's no increase in the property tax rate. And I want to thank Joy Rich, I want to thank Cindy and everybody who worked so hard on this, a great effort, and a budget, a fiscally responsible budget that we can feel very good about. And also, Laura Etter is soon going to be leaving us as well for a while, temporarily, and we wish Laura the best. Laura, thanks for everything that you've done. You've worked with me since the City of Phoenix days, and I'm very excited for you as this new chapter. Laura is pregnant, and so as this new chapter in your life is about to begin. So with that, thank you everyone for joining us, and have a great rest of your day.